Hey, before the video, I wanted to thank everyone for 100 subscribers. That's enough to drastically impact the wait time at an Applebee's, so I'm pretty happy about that. I also wanted to share this quick clip of me getting a mount in retail because I'm pretty hype about it. That's all the reason I need. Maybe the other person will be there first.
You got my mount?
I got it. All right, so without further ado, here's the actual video. Hello everyone, I know we're really excited about the new server coming out this Friday, but before that I wanted to talk about one more legendary enchant on the Wrath of the Lich King alpha server. That legendary enchant is going to be the Hoplite enchant. So that is going to allow the use of polearms and shields at the same time. Polearms, of course, normally being a two-handed weapon, really wouldn't work too well with the shield before. So now with this enchant, a few things are going to be happening. Hoplite Training is automatically applied to you. This is a buff that removes the damage reduction and threat increase from defensive stance. Casting Taunt will disable this Hoplite Training buff, but we're not going to worry too much about that side of it because I'm not playing this as a tank. We're playing this as a DPS class. Sinister Strike is transformed into Thrust, requiring a polearm and scaling from attack power. I do want to note that this also scales with your block value on what shield you're using and any other types of talents you have. Shield Slam is transformed into Shield Strike. This finishing move ability deals damage based on your combo points and reduces the active cooldown of your Blood Rage by 2 seconds per combo point. So already you can see some of the core abilities. You got that Sinister Strike, Shield Slam, and Blood Rage. I do want to note that because Shield Slam is a very important ability for this build, you're also going to need to pick up Defensive Stance. Now, while that Blood Rage is active, your Thrust applies a stack of Failing Strike. Failing Strike increases the damage of your Thrust by 20%, and reduces the energy cost by 3. This is stacking up to 10 times. You lose all stacks of this buff if you leave defensive stance or if Blood Rage expires. Now, that also applies if Blood Rage is refreshed, so unfortunately you really can't have infinite stacking. You're capped on that Blood Rage timer. That is the only enchant I'm currently using, and as I'm gonna point out really quickly, this is a brand new character I made. This is what they start you with. You're gonna notice very little gear on this character, and that's important when we're talking about the damage I'm gonna be doing and the overall experience playing this. So this is a really interesting legendary enchant for a few reasons. The main thing being the increased damage we get from certain skills like shield block. That's going to be increasing our block value. As I kind of mentioned earlier, anything that increases your block value is going to be increasing the damage on your shield slam. I believe it also increases the damage on your thrust, but I'm reading a tooltip, so don't quote me on that. So there's a few talents and abilities I want to call out because they're very interesting with this particular enchant. One of which, that I kind of alluded to, is shield block. This is going to be increasing our block value for about 10 seconds when we activate it. Now again, block value is now a damaging cooldown. The more things we can get with block value, the higher our shield slam is going to be. So that is also going to play a factor in a lot of the talents we ended up picking. One thing that I grabbed is Devastate. This is going to be sundering the opponent's armor when we use it. This combined with ability like Sword and Board is rather interesting. It's going to be reducing the cooldown of our shield slam ability, and by proxy the ability we get from this enchant Shield Strike. Some of you may know the abilities that turn into other abilities, for example Sinister Strike turning into Thrust. Abilities that will then buff Sinister Strike, or I should say talents that would buff Sinister Strike, also buff Thrust, and also buff, in this case, Shield Strike, etc., etc. So getting abilities that buff Shield Slam, inherently good for our Shield Strike ability. Now, some of these other abilities I have are just kind of filler to fit that class fantasy. Obviously, for this legendary enchant, you don't need things like Shield Wall, you don't need Spell Reflection, but it's nice to have. They're already pretty strong abilities, and to have them because we have defensive stance and shield is kind of too good to pass up, in my opinion. Now, we also picked up Shield Mastery. This is going to be increasing our block value by 10%. Again, just more flat damage there, and reduces the cooldown of our shield block by 10 seconds. So another way just to spam that shield block even more, along with other enchants like Firm Grip. We don't really care about the armor value increase, but this is giving us, again, more block value and more stamina. Now, I was very careful. I didn't want to get too many abilities into Protection Tree, only because other than the block value, they're not giving us too much on the damage side. And of course, between Thrust and Shield Strike, I can't really make a build around 2 damaging abilities. You normally need more. You normally need a little bit more filler there. So that's why you picked up Devastate. That's also why I picked up a lot of warrior abilities, just because I feel like it kind of fit the theme. So we did pick up things like Execute. We picked up Bloodthirst, not Bloodlust. Also Whirlwind. Again, just all inherently great abilities. They stand out pretty well on their own, and I feel like they're a good complement to the abilities we're already kind of stacking. Now, again, these other abilities are meant to use kind of more uniquely. Whirlwind obviously having an 8-second cooldown. You're not going to be able to spam that 24/7, but when you get into an AoE situation, Whirlwind is great. And obviously Whirlwind with a two-handed weapon deals pretty good damage. You know, I really can't complain about that. And again, just to really drive home, I did get improved Sinister Strike. Obviously this is going to be applicable to our Thrust ability, so we're going to be able to spam Thrust even more. And of course, that's a goal. We want to spam Thrust. We want to get a big Shield Strike, which I was able to get a few in the video, which I was really happy about. And I mean, that's about it. I'm gonna quickly go through all the enchants and talents I have on screen, just so you can kind of take a look for yourself. Because this is alpha, everything's subject to change. This enchant could change a lot by the time it's released on a regular server and not the alpha. All this could change in the blink of an eye. So I don't want you to look at any of these talents or abilities and think, oh, this is how I have to play it. This is just an idea. This is more of a concept than anything else. And then, of course, again, I do think no matter what, most of your abilities and talents are going to be coming from the warrior tree, so I'm going to spend a little longer on that. But again, nothing really crazy that we haven't talked about at this point. Again, getting some spells that optimize block value, I think, is going to be really important for this build. But that should be wrapping it up for today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'm excited to see everyone on League 3. I'll definitely be doing something on that. Other than that, bye-bye and bye-bye.